Hello everyone, welcome to Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I wanted to go over some Google Trends. I'm a little bored today and I was looking at Google Trends and wanted to see what the trends for interest in Aptera motors was over time and over different geographies, and found out some interesting stuff. Now, this is the longest back that Google Trends will go from 2004 to the present. And if you look at this, this is relative interest over time. So it's relative. It's 100 is like the most interest there's ever been throughout that time period. And everything is relative to that. So it doesn't give you absolute numbers of how many people were searching or anything like that, but you know that the most interest was here in June of 2008, which makes sense. That's when that's when the original Aptera was getting a lot of press, and it was in like the Star Trek movie reboot with Christopher Pine. In the Starfleet Academy scene, you can see it roll around in the background. And then as the company ran into problems, interest petered out. And then you see like no interest. And then when the company rebooted in December of 2020, you see a spike in interest, and it's been kind of stable since then. And if you look at which parts of the US are most interested, surprisingly, Montana is the most interested, then Hawaii, then Vermont, then California, then Nevada. If you look at worldwide interest, kind of a similar picture. It spikes up, around June, July, and then you see another spike at the reboot of the company. And as you would expect, the most interest is in the United States because it's a United States company, and then interest in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Hungary, Greece. These are the top ones. If you look at just Aptera, Greece is number one, and I was like, wow, people in Greece are really interested in Aptera, which may be true. But then I realized that Aptera is actually a city in Greece, and also it's a Greek word, so that's why you can have a lot of Greek searches for Aptera. All right, so then let's look at the past year. And what you'll see is a relatively stable trend, and you get spikes, I think, as Aptera puts out new information and things like that, and has lulls as there's less information coming out. Again, United States and surprisingly Austria has a lot of interest. If you look at the United States and segment it out by state, you'll see, surprisingly, Utah has the most interest, then Arkansas. I would not have guessed that. I would have thought it would be like Hawaii or California, maybe Texas. But no, it's Utah, Arkansas, Washington, Hawaii, Oregon. They are the ones that are most interested. If you look at the past 5 years, which would bring in the launch, so you see the big spike at launch, almost no interest before, because Aptera was kind of defunct before then. Then the spike at launch, that's when they did their launch video, December 20th. That's when a lot of us reserved our Aptera. And then you see it going forward. Oregon seems to be a hotbed of interest. Oregon also is where Archimoto is, so they're kind of into that kind of stuff, I think, three-wheelers. So I wanted to know, the next one I wanted to know was, what is the absolute level of interest? And in order to do that, you have to open up a Google Ads account and do like keyword searches, and you can see like how many people are searching for certain keywords. This is to help people drive, pick keywords for their searches. And I'm looking at, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. Okay. So I'm looking at, I just put in like Aptera, Canoe, Archimoto, Lucid Motor, Cybertruck, and XBus. And so what you'll see here is Aptera has average monthly searches of 10,000 to 100,000, and so does Canoe, and so does Archimoto. So we're kind of in that range. It's a big range. It's like a tenfold range, so it's hard to say. There isn't. It's been pretty stable over 3 months. There haven't been major changes, and year-on-year change, there isn't much difference. Now I put in XBus, which is that quirky little vehicle out of Germany, and you see it doesn't have much interest, 1,000 to 10,000, but it has had a lot of year-on-year change, so it's kind of trending upwards. And then you see clearly like things like Lucid Motors and Cybertruck, they have about tenfold more searches. But after having 10,000 to 100,000 searches, it's pretty good. Pretty good. It's not, and this is in the United States only. So that's quite a bit of interest. I mean, like, let's say that even 1% of these people bought the Aptera. That's over 1,000 people per month. So that would be pretty good. Anyways, I just thought it was fun to go over and look at the changes. I think what's most interesting to me is hopefully we see a trend of interest going upward, and there is a slight trend in that direction. But as I think as there's more as we move closer to production, I think we're going to see this interest go up, and I'll definitely revisit the trends as there's more news coming out of Aptera. Like when it IPOs, I'm sure there's going to be a big spike in interest. And if it ever, when they start doing like crash tests and stuff, and when it launches, there's going to be a huge spike in interest, and I think that'll be fun to see. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys.